Tonight, I have the privilege of talking with Blake Horvath. He plays for one of my good friends at Hilliard Derby, and he's an option quarterback, and that helps him a little bit. He's really athletic, but as true option quarterbacks, some of the scholarships are really, really hard to get. And I think Blake eventually should be considered an athlete, and I think he needs to get in front of people and maybe go over and play like a free safety or grow into an outside linebacker. He definitely has the attitude. Blake, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You told me you are working out for both basketball and football and things like that, just to stay in shape and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
yep.
really.
Just had them both today, actually.
Who do you work out with?
Like by myself or
with a group or anything like that?
So I work out with the football team and the basketball team. Basketball is more, I guess, training, like ball handling and shooting. But
right.
But then I have a personal trainer that I go to. He's the strength and conditioning coach at Ohio Dominican University. His name's Andrew Ziegler. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That sounds good. It's really important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to do this. Tell me, you're a quarterback, you're really successful, you ran for a lot of yards, okay? What is the hardest thing about being an option quarterback?
It's just the reads are definitely the toughest part. It's just split second decisions, everything you do, especially in we play, I guess, in the box, there's not a lot always going outside and, it's a lot just right in the middle. And so everything's going down in a split second. So it's really just split second decisions that, got to get down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We talked about that and it's recruiting a little bit for you, I think. What about switching to defense the next level or going to a slot position or something like that? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm definitely open to switching positions. I know that it's tough to get recruited as a QB in an option offense to different schools. So I'm definitely open, show my athleticism to move to a different position, whatever I guess the school thinks fits me best.
And we'll talk about it later, but camps are really important for you because you're going to have to be able to do that and everything. Okay, well, what's the best thing about playing football,
though? I really think it's just, getting to be out there with my teammates every day and, just building some team camaraderie, just having a great time with them, just making friends that, I'm always going to have.
Just about everybody says that. That the team aspect and team idea and things like that are huge. Okay, let's talk about, you play two sports. Let's play basketball as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you encourage good football players to play basketball or wrestle or track or baseball? Is that playing two sports? Is that good?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I mean, it can only help you, I guess, just train more than one thing, because sometimes when you try and specify on just one thing, you miss out on some certain areas that you don't even realize, and so basketball just really helps just make me more well-rounded.
I think it helps you too, because you get different coaches in. So you can respond to maybe, and I don't know your basketball coach, but maybe he has a total different personality than John does, but you get used to that, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
How's school going? I know good. You're a pretty good student. So, and your parents are from the Valley, and you're a good student. That's pretty. I'm joking with you. That's good. What are you thinking about majoring in college?
I'm definitely interested in the business schools. That's mostly what I've been looking at, and then I want to, I guess, go into finance specifically inside of the business schools.
That's good. That's really good, and finance is a good program. Well, you better be able to multiply, add, subtract, and divide. You know that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's huge. That's huge. So math is good for you. That opens up a lot of areas. Okay, first, who do you give credit? Because I look at you and, I've done this for a long, long time. You look like a first-class person. You're groomed. You've got, you look good. Who do you give credit? Your grades are good. And your football's good. Who do you give credit to?
It definitely just goes straight to my parents. I mean, they've always pushed me to whatever I want to do, just, work as hard as I possibly can inside of it. They don't push me to play football or play basketball, but it's my decision. And once I make that decision, they make sure that, I don't quit or give up, but I, just work as hard as I possibly can.
That's huge. That's really good. What about anybody in the sports part of it? Anybody like that you kind of look back on as not a role model, but as a person that's really kind of pushed you and been there for you and things like that?
I definitely have had some great youth coaches in my day that have really, even now, I still keep in touch with them. Just talking to them all the time, that they really just, I guess, opened up my love for the game of football.
That's huge. That's huge.
Made me who I am today.
That's good. Now, what about any, and some guys do, some guys don't when I ask, any pro or college athlete you kind of watch or maybe you give a little extra attention to or you think about? Anybody like that?
I guess really it's just I always love watching just whoever the QB at Ohio State is and just how they deal with themselves and how they lead and, when something goes wrong, what do they do? Because I feel that's just the highest standard for a player. If you could play quarterback at Ohio State, they're that's what you should aim to be because they're obviously a great person.
That's really good. Okay. Anything, go back to football or basketball. Anything crazy you do on pregame or that day of the game? Any you may not have, but anything I call it a ritual, anything you do like that? Anything crazy?
No, I wouldn't say I do anything crazy. I just have, I guess, the same ritual for putting my stuff on every game.
Yeah.
Got to go. And I have the same guy help me put on my pads every game.
Well, now you do have some crazies. No, that's good. Okay, my first crazy, I have three silly questions, I call them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you could trade places with somebody for one day, who would it be and why?
I would say I would love to trade places with Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, that guy who just the richest man in the world right now.
Whoa, man. That's surprising. I mean, that got me. I knew who he was, and he is, isn't he? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you keep working math and everything and finance may be up there. How's that?
I think that would just be super fun to, just, I guess, be at, just do, I guess, whatever you want to do with, the money you have. Because, money, I guess, just gives you that freedom to, try whatever you want.
Yeah, that's super. Okay. We talked about different things. What's one thing? That's a silly question. What's your biggest strength as an athlete? Let's go athlete, because you played basketball. What's your biggest strength as an athlete, you think?
I think it's definitely, I guess, my speed and my quickness is definitely what sets me apart from the rest of, I guess, the people I play with. I always use it, I guess, to my abilities, so I guess I always just try to be the best defender in basketball when I'm on defense, always try and I guess, try and find the open hole and just burst through as fast as I can when I'm playing football, just try and use my speed in the best ways possible to help out my team.
Yeah, I think you have better quick feet than you do true speed. I mean, you make those quick, and you do have good speed. I'm just saying, I think that quickness with your feet is so huge. Excuse me, sometimes even more than speed. But and then also you have vision. I'm just telling you by looking at your video, and also I think you anticipate. You kind of anticipate what's going to happen, and you can see the field. Okay, that's what I see, and obviously toughness, and that's huge. What do you have to work on? You're going on and playing football. What do you have to get better at?
I definitely think one thing for the coming up this next season, we as a team we've been working on, especially for me, our throwing ability, ability to open up our offense, because if we're able to throw, I think it just makes us more dangerous running the ball too, because then you got to look out for both sides. But another thing that especially been working on is just like running form and my hips, I guess, just really making sure that those are as flexible as possible, because that used to be a bad thing for me, was my flexibility. But now I think I've just been a thing I've worked at for a really long time.
Blake, a lot of that, I think everybody I see, especially defensive players, have to work on hips and change the direction. Linebackers, defensive tackles, those big old guys, that I think the change of direction is so huge. And it's one of the biggest things young people have to work on. And that's really good. What advice would you tell a young freshman? You're going into your senior year. You've got a lot of pressure. You're good football. And what about a freshman? He's kind of dragging a little bit. That second week in August, you know how that, you've been there. And then you're thinking, oh, man. And now you have a bigger program, so you don't see them as much, but they still drag. That's different for them than eighth grade.
Yeah.
So what do you tell them?
I would definitely tell them just two things. First, I would just tell them, listen to what people are saying to you. You don't gotta think that they're being tough on you or anything. What they're telling you is just because they know what it takes to get better and to just be a better football player and just a better person in general. So just listen to anything that coaches or especially older guys just have to say, because I think they know how it really goes down at a varsity level, in the high school level of football. And also just, do whatever you can to contribute, rather if you're the stud freshman who's going to play varsity, his first year, or if you're going to be on scout team for 2 years, and you just got to practice, just make the team better.
Good. I think that's really good. Second silly question. Okay, what talent would you like to have that you don't have and you'll probably never get? What talent would you like to have?
I think that I don't know why that I want this, but I think I'd really like to be able to juggle just anything.
I'm surprised your basketball coach doesn't have you doing that, because that's a quick hands drill now. You can get those 3 bowling pins or balls, tennis balls.
Yep. See, that's what I want to do. I'd be throwing knives up in the air, just catching them, just be able to do anything.
That's good. You have some very unique answers to me. I've done a lot of these so far. That's good. That's huge. And I'm joking around with you. What are words? What are words that you live by? For me, at 72, and I still want to be good. I want to be successful. I want people to respect my success and things like that. And I drive hard. What words do you live by?
A word I guess I live by for everything is just my determination. Just always determination, perseverance. When things get tough, you just can't give up. You just got to keep pushing through, and just work your hardest you possibly can. And then another thing I really think is important is just be kind. Just always being kind to people. Just try and reach out, make someone's day. Just show them you're interested in them. Just be kind to people. I like to always say.
I think that's huge, by the way. And I don't think you have to. Kindness can be thank you, thank you, or open the door. It doesn't have to, be dragged out. It's just, it's a kindness thing. And also that's really good. And I think that's the trouble with a lot of really good athletes and good football players that I see. Once it becomes an inconvenience, they stop. Once it becomes for parents an inconvenience to take you to practice and then they got to. Well, I think once it becomes an inconvenience for you, you're working out, your buddies are all, they're at the pool or something this summer, and you're out there sweating. But guys, I see it more in conditioning. I see it more than in strength training and stuff like that. Once it becomes that. Okay, let's talk about, we'll do the last crazy question. What's one thing that nobody knows about you? What's one thing that nobody knows about you? You're afraid of snakes. I don't know.
No, I actually learned this a few years ago, but I learned how to sew. So I know how to sew.
That's really good.
With a sewing machine.
With a sewing machine. Wow, that's really good. These always go so fast. Let's talk about, what are your plans now? You've got this year, but what are your plans as far as the recruiting part of it now? You're too smart not to have a game plan. So what's your thinking right now?
I've talked to my coach, and, we see, what we think is the best plan for me for this season, because obviously he's been through it for so long. He knows what I should be doing. And, because and so we talked, and we both think that, like, just trying to go to camps that schools that are interested in me, that have reached out to me, and instead of like the schools that, like, it would be, they haven't reached out to me, they probably haven't even watched my film, just like, rather than like dream schools, the realistic schools of the schools that want me, rather than, schools that haven't even reached out.
Yeah. I think that's great. And I think that's, instead of trying to go someplace distant, this year is really, in fact, I just talked to Ohio State coach today. It's really tough because you really, unless you're a big-time Ohio State guy or a young guy, player, but it's tough then because you really don't have time just to go, and there are no other coaches. I don't think they're going to allow coaches to come in from other colleges like in the past because of the COVID-19. So I think it's really get a feel. And plus, it's a big fraternity. If you do well at some camp, other people are going to know about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, but I think you're really smart to do that way. Okay. I've enjoyed the interview. It's your podcast.
So
You've done a good job. We're going to, you and I are going to be old buddies and friends at this. I'm not going to tell people why, but we're veterans, huh? Thank you very much. Okay.
No, thank you.